Alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you all. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So inshallah, we're going to talk about something brief today, but it may be some issues that many of you may be wondering as new Muslims, because you've just learned the first pillar of Islam and you're just now practicing the second pillar of Islam, which is the prayer, and you've come into this month of Ramadan, or maybe even outside of the month of Ramadan, but primarily in this month of Ramadan, you see that after the fifth prayer, the Isha prayer, that there are people that will be offering many other prayers, and you'll see many other Muslims, many more Muslims in the masjid at Isha than you regularly would in the masjid, in the mosque that you usually attend, or in any other mosque, and you see that it has something to do with the connection of Ramadan. Well, firstly, we want to understand that this prayer that is offered after the Isha prayer is a prayer called Taraweeh. It is called Taraweeh. And that is an optional prayer. It's not obligatory, but it's recommended if you have the wherewithal and opportunity to do so. Now, Taraweeh linguistically means to take a rest. During the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he used to offer the prayer with them in Jama'ah, but it was really him offering it by himself until they saw him after Salat al-Isha. He would offer this prayer, and it was a prayer that was basically 2 rak'ats with taslim, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, then 2 rak'ats, and then it was mentioned that there would be a rest period. So the Prophet ﷺ did this for the first night and the second night, and then the third night he didn't come because he noticed when the companions were around and they saw him offering this prayer after Isha, they joined behind him. I mean, this is the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, and this shows how they love the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, being that they would practice this act, knowing that if he did it, it was an action of guidance. So they went to follow him. So they prayed behind him. But the third night, the Prophet ﷺ did not come out, and he came out for Fajr, because this was a prayer that was offered in the middle, at the nighttime, all the way to close to the middle of the night. So he said, I didn't come out the third night, and I knew that y'all were out there, but I did that in fear that y'all would think that it's obligatory. Firstly, we see from this the manner of the Prophet ﷺ, or manners, being that he did not want to make things hard on his followers, especially if it was something that was not obligatory upon him. Just as we see in other practices, such as the miswak, you'll see people with like a piece of wood, and you see them, they clean their teeth with it. That is something that the Prophet ﷺ, when he would wake up before even going to make wudu, kana yashu sufahu bisiwak. He used to clean his teeth with this. It's called siwak or miswak. Okay, it's primarily from the tree called the oud tree, and he would use this to wipe his teeth. Now, the Prophet ﷺ used to do this, and he said that he did this, but he didn't want to make it obligatory upon them. خوفا من أن يشق عليهم, وكما كان يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم, is that he would do this, but he had fear. He didn't want this to have a sense of obligation on the ummah, that the ummah thought it was obligatory upon them. So it was a sunnah. It was something that was the Prophet ﷺ's practice, recommended for the Muslim to do, especially in the month of Ramadan. So these raka'at that you see are called Taraweeh. It's called Taraweeh. Even after the time of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, they would offer 2 and 2, which would be 4. Then they would rest, and then get up and offer 2 and 2, which would be 8, and then they would rest, and then offer what is called the witr prayer. So first, let's talk about the Taraweeh prayer. Now, you have the 5 prayers of Islam: Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. The morning prayer, the morning and dusk. Then you have the prayer in the midday, okay, as soon as the sun goes down from its zenith, about 8 to 10 minutes. Then you have the Asr prayer, and that is the evening prayer. And you have the Maghrib prayer, which is a prayer of sundown. So you have sun up and then sundown. And after that, when you see the sun go away and it's the redness, that's when you see the Maghrib prayer come in. After that is the Isha prayer. Now, Taraweeh is offered after the Isha prayer. So what you will see is someone offer the Isha prayer. They will be offering it after the Isha prayer. They will offer the Taraweeh prayer. Now, this prayer is a prayer that comes roughly after Isha for about 5 minutes. You'll see them offer this prayer, and you'll see them offer this prayer, and after this prayer, they will stand up and then they will offer this Taraweeh. Now, you'll see people just sitting down after Salat al-Isha. After they sit down is a time where, people will just be making the sunnah prayers, which is the 2 optional prayers after Isha. Then after that, they will offer what is called the Tarawih prayer. Now, the Tarawih prayer is something that is offered. You can find it to be either 8 rak'at or 20 rak'at. So some people will offer 8 rak'at or 20, and after that, the 20 rak'at that will be offered is something that was not done by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him himself, because that's the major question. Do we offer 20 or not? Do we offer 20 or not? Yes, you offer. The congregation will offer 20, but it's not obligatory for you to do the 20 prayers, the 20 rak'at. But it was something that was done during the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiyallahu anhum. It was done and the second caliph or king after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the reason he did this is because he saw from the remnants of the time of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that people would offer the prayers in the mosques in different groups, or they would offer it independently of each other. Because during the time of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, as we know, he didn't want to make it obligatory upon them. But that did not stop them from praying the raka'at after Isha for the fadl, for the virtue. He didn't negate the fact of doing the action. It's just that he didn't want to make them feel that it was obligatory upon them, to where they felt after his death that it was something that they had to offer. So with that being the case, during the time of Abu Bakr, which was the first king after the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, during his era, they would offer it in the mosque in separate groups. But Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, he wanted them to offer it together for the sake of bringing the community together and praying together. Now, when they did this, they did it in 20, because during that time, when they would offer, 2, 2, 4, 2, 2, 8, and then the witr prayer, they would do this, and they would read verses that had 100 ayat in it for, standing in one rak'ah. And this is the status of the people we're dealing with here. They would offer long rak'at and long prayers. But when it came to the time of Umar, it was 20, and he wanted to make it easy on the people. So he would shorten the rak'ah. So each rak'ah, it would be shortened, and it would amount to 20. Maybe even the same time frame as the 8, but definitely the 20 was something that was offered for the community for a means of bringing them together. Now, one could argue that the time frame has changed. People have jobs from 8 to 5, and if Tarawih is offered and it's 20, and we offer it all the way to 12, have to wake back up at 5, kind of similar to the situation that we're in now, it may not be that feasible. It's totally okay for a masjid not to offer 20. You'll find some masjids, they'll offer 8, and instead of being out at 12 o'clock, people are out at 11, 10, 11, 15. And that may even be a preferable situation, being that people have to wake up early, and taking that into consideration of the community. So the community taking a consensus, or seeing the position of the community, what's best for them is the best route. Now, if you're in a masjid that offers 20, and you hear the hadith of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, whoever prays and stays with the imam, it is as though he's prayed the whole night. This is something that definitely, if you offer and stay with the imam, it's so you prayed the whole night. But if you fear that you can't, you have 2 options. Go to a mosque that offers 8 and they finish, and you can make the witr prayer with them, and it'll be as though you prayed the whole night. Or you go to that masjid, and as soon as they're done with 8, you get up and you leave. You may not receive that reward, but there are other rewards of praying with the jama'ah. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Man qama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi." Whoever prays, who stands in the month of Ramadan, standing in prayer with belief and anticipating the reward, then his previous sins will be forgiven. And anticipating the reward is the one that does not feel that fasting is a burden on him, nor does he feel that the days are too long. Rather, he thinks opposite. He longs for the fast, and he longs for doing this action of good. And the days that go by is just the day that brings him more sorrow, because Ramadan is legal. So that is definitely when we see the hadith of the Prophet. So when it comes to the virtues, do not think that because you're deprived of one, there's not an opportunity for the other. So when offering 20 rak'ahs, brothers and sisters, we understand the meaning of Tarawih, and we understand the 20 rak'ahs. Yes, it wasn't legislated by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. directly, but indirectly it was because he said, follow the sunnah of the Khulafa al-Rashidin and Mahdiyin, the ones that are the Khulafa al-Rashidin. Khulafa al-Rashidin means the rightly guided predecessors. Okay, and from them was the second one, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, and he did this, he legislated this for the means of bringing the community together and praying together. So it definitely is an Islamic, Islamically motivated legislative practice by Umar. Even though Umar didn't make it obligatory upon the Ummah, but he made it something to where the Ummah can come together. So with that being the case, understanding Taraweeh and understanding the virtues of it and understanding the position of it from a legal standpoint, being that it's not obligatory, but it's highly recommended for you to do so. Now, if you feel that Taraweeh is going to cause you to neglect any obligatory act, such as you making the goal of wanting to pray Fajr in the masjid. You know, this year I want to make the goal to pray Fajr on time at home. I want to make the goal of praying Fajr in the masjid. Then definitely Taraweeh is secondary to that. Okay, Taraweeh is secondary to that. Now, that is the Taraweeh prayer. The next thing that you heard me mention was something called Witr. Now, Witr means odd. It can be 1, 3, 5, 7. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way he used to offer his nightly prayers was basically 11. Okay, so we have 2 and 2, rest. So it'd be 2 and 2, that's 4, rest. 6, 8, rest. Okay, so that's 8. So then what he would do then is he would offer 2 rak'ats, okay, and then offer 1. Now, the way that he would offer this differs in the riwayat and the hadith. Sometimes he would offer 2, and as I said, 2 and 4. The reason I did it like that is because every 2, as Aisha used to say, it was mathna, mathna, 2 and 2. So basically, you say Allahu Akbar and offer your 2 prayers just like Fajr. It will be just like Fajr. After the second one, you're sitting in your tashahhud. You're sitting down, right? After the second unit. You say, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. That's 2. He would get right back up and do the same thing. 2 units, 2 rakat. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Then rest for maybe a small while, maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes. Then get back up and then offer 2 and 2 again. So all of that equals how many? 8. Okay. So after the 8, he would offer 2 more and then Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Then get up and then offer 1. And when he, in the way that he would offer, he said Allahu Akbar, he would recite Fatiha, okay, and then he would recite an opening surah, okay, and then after that he would go into ruku', come back up, you know, and then go into the prostration, Allahu Akbar, 2 prostrations. He wouldn't come back up. He would stay sitting like he would in the second unit of a 2-unit prayer, but this is a 1-unit prayer. Then he would say Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Okay, that's one way. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also in that 1-unit prayer. So this is which number of rakats? This would be the what? This would be the 11th. Okay, so we have 8 plus 2 that we did. That would be 10, and then there's one more, the 11th. So in the last one, instead of coming up from ruku', the bowing position, instead of saying Bismillah Alhamdulillah and then going right back down to prostration, he would come up and then he would put his hands up and he would make a witr. Okay, now the witr, the qunut, excuse me, it's called qunut. And there's a certain dua that he would make that he taught his companions, he taught the ummah, radiallahu anhum. And this is what you'll see some imams do. Okay, so after they offer 20, they get back up. And you're like, we just offered 20. What's going on? Well, they would get up and then they would do the 2, and then Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, and then they get up and offer 1. And then after they come up from ruku', you'll see the imam put his hands up and he'll say, Allahumma hdini fi man hadayt, wa afini fi man afayt, wa tawallana fi man tawallayt, wa barak lana fi ma a'tayt, wa qini wasrif anna sharra ma qadayt, fa innaka subhanaka tuqdi wa la yuqda alayk. Going on with this dua al-qunut, okay? So this is something that was offered by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now that is 11. But as I mentioned in the mosque, you'll see them offer either 8 or 20. After the 8, they'll offer 3, or after the 20, they'll offer 3, which would be 23. And you'll find some companions, even after the time of Umar, they offered more than that. Okay, the goal is that you offer in units of 2, and the witr should be odd. Now, another way that it's performed is just like Salat al-Maghrib, similar to it, being that you would get up from the second rak'ah. After you say Allahu Akbar, you go into sujood, you're in your second unit. you come right back up. You know how you offer a 2-unit prayer and then you stay sitting? No, in this case, after the second rak'ah, you come right back up for the third. You haven't sat down yet. There's no tashahhud. So it's one rak'ah, prostration. You go through your ruku', you recite your surah, ruku', come back up, prostration twice, come up. That's the first unit. Second unit, Surah Al-Fatiha, you recite a surah, go in ruku', come back up, go in prostration, come back up. You don't prostration, stay in the sitting position in your second unit. No, you come right back up and then you recite Fatiha and then a surah and then go for ruku', come back up, prostration, and then stay sitting and then offer your taslim. Okay, so that is roughly what witr means. It is an odd number. Inna Allah witr yuhibbul witr. As Prophet says, verily Allah is odd, he loves the odd. So offering an odd number prayer is what the witr is. Now, if you feel that you are offering Salat al-Tarawih, you offer Salat al-Tarawih, and you don't want to make witr with them, because witr should be the last prayer of the night. Okay, witr should be the last prayer of the night. So if you're offering witr, or you offer Tarawih, and you see they're offering witr, and you don't want to offer witr, what you do is you make Tarawih with them. If they make 20, and you see them about to make witr, you leave and then go home, take care of your business. If you want to go to sleep, go to sleep. But you go to sleep anticipating 51 to 100% that you're going to be able to wake up before Fajr and then offer your witr prayer. Or if you want to go home and offer some more prayers, you don't make witr with the congregation. You leave after the 8th or you leave after the 20th, and then you go home and you offer some more prayers. And then the last prayer that you make before going to sleep is 1 rak'ah or 3 rak'ahs or 5 or 7. It's totally fine. Okay. But if you feel you're going to need to go to sleep, you go to sleep and then you wake up and you offer your witr prayer. Okay. So that is your witr prayer. So what we have talked about was Tarawih. The number 20 is not obligatory. 8 is not obligatory. The Prophet also used to pray at home 8 and then 2 and then 1. Okay. Or you offer the 20, and that is with the congregation. But if you can't offer the 20, do not feel that you're lesser of a Muslim, that your iman is not that strong, or that's a sign of you not being that religious, or Allah hasn't guided you in this month of Ramadan as a new Muslim. No, especially if you have to work in the morning, may be recommended for you not to offer the Tarawih, especially if they're going all the way till 12 or 1 and you have to work at 4 in the morning. You know yourself what's best for you. Okay. And the witr prayer, what we talked about, is an odd number of prayers, whether it's 1, 3, 5. The Prophet ﷺ used to offer 1, or used to offer 2, and make tashahhud, and then 1, or you can offer 3 all at one time. And the witr prayer in the last rak'ah, if it's a 1-unit prayer, when coming up from ruku', the last rak'ah, the last unit, you put your hands up and you can ask Allah and make dua to him. Some masjids, they may do it audibly, they may do it out loud. Some may not do it at all. The Prophet ﷺ never did it out loud at all, but you will see the companions and people after them do that for a general maslahah of the community, to hear the dua and to join together in that dua. So the general purpose of bringing them together was the main cause that Umar bin Khattab made a congregation off of 20, even though before that they were offering rak'at in long length, reciting 100 verse chapters in 1 unit. So understanding that kind of gives us a broad spectrum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you those that prioritize by offering the 5 daily prayers even before thinking about Tarawih. And if you offer Tarawih, may he make you of those that understand what you're doing. And if you don't understand, which leads us to the last point, if you don't understand what's being recited, try to find a mosque that's going to tell you or tell the community what's being recited, and read that verse, read those chapters. And when you hear it being recited, listen to it, even though you may not understand it, but ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you, to give you the understanding in the future. Remember, the barakah of coming to the masjid is there. The barakah of joining the congregation is there. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever offers prayer in congregation receives 27 times the reward. In another hadith, 25. Another riwayah, another narration. Okay, so coming to the masjid, coming there, you would definitely receive a reward. Majority of the Muslims in the masjid, about 90% of them, don't understand what's being recited. I'm talking about the underlying meanings. If we're talking about high level of understanding, word by word, 90% of them, and I'll go as far as say 95, don't understand. I'll say about a good 50 to 70% don't understand the Arabic. Okay. So even that amongst Arabs don't understand it. So don't feel that you're alone. You're rather with the majority. The minority are the ones that understand the verses in Arabic, even the words in Arabic that aren't used. A small decimal percentage understand that. So you are definitely from the majority, being that you don't understand. So take that as a means of you're not feeling you're not an outcast or anything of that nature. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you of those who are blessed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you of those that benefit from what is being heard and follow the best in practice. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Jazakumullahu khairan.